The HYPERCUBE is often considered one of the best artifacts in the game. But why is that the case, and is that true? Is this thing any good, and what does it do? In today's episode of Artifact Review, we're going to be reviewing this thing, and also going over where you can get one yourself. So let's dive into it. The HYPERCUBE is a rare thermal artifact that you can find in thermal anomalies. So if you want to farm one, all you have to do is go over 100 meters away from where thermal artifacts generate, save your game, run over to the thermal anomaly field, and then keep going there until a HYPERCUBE appears. And then once you get your very own HYPERCUBE, you can look at it. Alright, so what are the stats on this thing? So the stats are maximum bleed resistance, maximum radiation, and maximum thermal protection. The amount of thermal tanking it provides is actually pretty substantial. So I'm going to get hit by this lava spout thing, and you can see how much damage I'm taking, quite a bit. Now I'm on a fully upgraded diamond exosuit, or exoskeleton, that has a thermal protection of 2.5. And when I equip the HYPERCUBE, get hit by the same anomaly, we tankin'. So it does provide quite a lot of protection for thermal. So it is useful for artifact hunting and just generally tanking fire. So it still gives you some thermal protection, but you get 2 maximum effects for 1 maximum radiation. And of course you can throw it in a lead container so that you have no downside at all, and you just get bleeding resist and thermal protection. But what does bleeding resist actually do? The bleed resist effect actually pulls bleed off of you. It doesn't resist it occurring. It essentially degenerates bleed from you fast. So if we start accumulating bleed, it starts pulling it off of us rapidly. So I'm just trying to accumulate some heavy bleed really quick till it gets to a higher tier. Then if we hop off of this, it'll start to pull the bleed off of us, like so. And then if I unequip it, I'll show the difference. The bleed should stick for quite a long time. Now the bleed provided by the barbed wire sometimes can be quite fast, but the HYPERCUBE does pull bleed off of you. So the bleed is like hanging around. If we had HYPERCUBE, it would have pulled it off of us already. Now, it doesn't pull off heavy bleed quickly, but it does pull it off faster than other things, and you can stack its effect. So you can see that obviously without it, we're not really losing the bleed as quickly as we would if we had it. So then we equip it. And obviously it's slower to pull bleed off versus like bandages or med kits, which do it instantly. But it is nice in combat to have, because as you're getting hit, it just gradually pulls bleeds off of you, so that you don't have to focus on bandaging as much, and you can just focus on shooting the enemies. So those are the basic effects, and you generally want to run it with either a lead container or like a liquid rock, now that weird water has been nerfed. So mostly it's going to be run in a lead container slot. Liquid rock can be fine too, but what rating would I give this out of 10? So this is a pretty big impact artifact. It has one of the best effects in the game. The thermal protection is nice, but the main takeaway here is the bleed resist. The maximum radiation is easily counteracted by a lead container slot, which most armor sets can provide. So I would give this like a 9 out of 10. I think it's really strong. It's good in pretty much any build. If you're fighting things, you're going to be getting bleeds put on you from enemy melee attacks, from bullets, from various anomalies and things like this. So it's a good effect. The thermal protection is a nice bonus, so you get 2 maximums for the price of 1. And of course, its main competitor is the weird bolt, or the weird nut, which actually matches it for maximum bleed resist, but reduces the rate of healing. So one of the benefits of the weird nut is, instead of requiring like a lead container slot, you can just throw it on literally any armor, and it does not increase radiation at all. But the downside is that it reduces bandage healing substantially, like the rate of healing, but not the amount. And it slightly reduces medkit healing, but not to the point where I would say it's bad. So I would say its main competitor is the Weird Nut, and it's it's pretty comparable to that for overall like bleed pulling. That's the main reason why you run it, is for bleed pulling. But that is it for this one. Definitely like and subscribe if you enjoyed this or found this useful, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.